when her mom asks her to wake up Yuichi, and he is her brother. She then goes near his room. But then she suddenly hears him saying, "Are you looking at me?" repeatedly, which made her to get uncomfortable a little bit. But he never stopped saying the same thing. In the end she gets angry, and quickly opens the door. After opening it she stares at him. All of a sudden, he says she looks cute in her uniform. To which she slightly blushes and asks her brother to come downstairs. But our protagonist Yuichi was standing in front of the mirror, but there are mirrors surrounding him. In the end he gets shocked because it's already late for his school. As a result she questions him on how long he is staring at himself. To which he replies, "It's been 3 hours." In the end both of them stands there silently. And then she asks him to come downstairs soon because they might be go to school late if he doesn't hurry up. All of a sudden he asks her if she doesn't want to see him change his dress, which made her to get flustered, but he didn't stop, and he goes on by saying his body is so rare that it won't come into the display anymore. In the end she throws a clock directly on his head, and tells him to get ready faster. Meanwhile he says, "Where is that cute sister that asked him to marry her when they were kids?" After a while going to the school, he asks her on why she throwed a clock on his head. To which she replies it's because he asked her to watch him change. But he goes on by saying he wants to include his sister on his brocon. All of a sudden she notices 2 people walking by, and it was Yuichi's best friend and his sister. As a result she tries to call them, but Yuichi suddenly covers her mouth by saying she will ruin the element of surprise. He then goes on by thinking, to heal his crushed heart from the morning, he have to have fun now. As a result he locks his target in his best friend's sister, and then he gets ready to run. After seeing him, she asks him if he is trying to do some devious things. But then ignoring her, he rushes towards that little girl. All of a sudden his sister shouts by telling him to look at left. And to his surprise it was a guy in the cycle, and he shouts at Yuichi by telling him to not run on the road. After hearing the sound, his best friend saw him. As a result he gets angry because his element surprise just got ruined. All of a sudden his sister once again shouts at him by asking him to look out. But this time she was really scared. Even his friends are scared. And when he finally takes a look at what it was, to his surprise that was Truck-kun. All of a sudden he wakes up thinking his body feels like he just got hit by a truck. In the end he gets shocked because he just woke up in a different place. All of a sudden a girl appears in front of him, to which he started to say that she is really beautiful, which is rivaling him. As a result she blushingly says Yuichi's name correctly. But this shocks him because she knows his name correctly. He then suddenly gets calm by thinking if she knows his name, but he doesn't know her name, so that means she must be a stalker and a secret member of his fan club. To which she asks to him if that fan club even exists. As a result he couldn't able to say anything, so they just stands there silently. And then he replies that the lack of evidence cannot deny the possibility. Afterwards she says he should be asking a different question by now because he just woke up in an unfamiliar area. In the end he realizes that he needs to ask her some questions, and then he thinks of 3 questions, and the number 1 is where he is, and the number 2 is who she is, and then the number 3 is asking her on what is her 3 size. He then decides to get his priorities straight. As a result he decides to ask her 3 sizes first. In the end he asks her to say her size, to which she replies she will not say it. As a result he gets disappointed. Afterwards she tells to him that he is already dead, which shocks him. So he tries to deny her words by saying there is no way he is dead. As a result she says she is a reaper and she is here to take his soul. In the end he tells her to leave her identity aside. There is no way he will die just because a truck hits him. All of a sudden he gets shocked because he will die if he got hit by a truck. In the end he started to kneel down. In the end he started to cry. Meanwhile she is looking at him with a pitiful eyes. And all of a sudden he says he can't die a virgin, which then made her to get disappointed, since he only cares about that. And then she goes by asking to him that there are many things that's important to worry about other than not losing his virgin. To which he thoughts to himself that not able to see his family and not losing his V-card comes as a same level of problems for him. He then goes on by thinking about his funeral, where his best friend and his sister everyone is crying. Even some bunny girls are crying for Yuichi, which is also his imagination, and they do not exist in reality. Afterwards his friend comes near his body to give his respects. As a result he started to get some tear in his eyes, but then he suddenly says, "Yuichi, you died a virgin," and he shouldn't need to worry because he will work hard for his sake, and explain that experience when he comes to the heaven. In the end, this made Yuichi to get mad. That Reaper girl then asks to him on why he is daydreaming. Afterwards, he tremblingly says there is no way he will let someone to do it for him, but the Reaper girl was confused. He then suddenly asks to her, if she is a Reaper then she should know how he can go back. Plus, as long as he can lose his V card, he wouldn't mind getting reincarnated to another world. To which she replies that there is no thing called being reincarnated, after getting ran over by the Truck-kun. But guys, quick break. Let's just say you got reincarnated into the other world. But if you happen to buy our channel membership, you will know what ranks you will be after reaching the Adventure Guild in a random town. Alright, back to the story. She then suddenly says she can revive him back to the world, which made him to get happy, so he asks her on how. To which she goes on by saying if he can challenge her to a game and win. Also, she says she never lost before. He then asks her to just revive him now, since that's the hassle-free way. In the end, she says no. He then suddenly gets serious and says if he can invite her to any game. And she says yes. After that, he asks her name, to which she replies it's Alicia. He then goes on by saying he wants to play strip rock paper and scissor, and this flabbergasted her. After saying it, he started to explain her the rules about the game, which is if she loses she have to remove a part of her dress. Meanwhile, she was wondering on where he got that blackboard and a chalk piece. She then thoughts to herself if he is actually smart, since he is inviting her to a game that is based on luck. But after seeing his expression, she realizes he is not thinking anything at all. In the end, she blushingly says she will beat him in his own perverted game. To which he replies if she wants to see his body that badly. That's why, guys, let's see it in the next chapter whether if Yuichi can save his life by winning this rock, paper, and scissor. Well, let's screw the pointless cliffhanger. And let's jump into the conclusion. Yes, he won the match without a single lose. And she is silently sitting behind him, but she was crying after seeing her face. He gives her clothes back by saying the match is already decided. Plus, he thought she will stop the match in the halfway because who would strip? She then suddenly says she can't lose for certain personal reasons, but now it's over. As a result, he calls her name, and he asks to her if she really wanted to see his body. Afterwards, she says that the real reason is because of the political issues. Since she is the eldest daughter of the Pandemonium family, the shame of lose won't be on her, but rather it will be put on their entire family. To which he asks her to say the meaning. As a result, she says that his family will disown her to avoid the shame of lose. As a result, he gets shocked and he thoughts to himself that he have to do something and fix this problem. If he can't fix it, he vows not to stare at himself in the mirror for eternity. He then quickly decides to not vow for eternity but rather only 2 hours because that's pretty reasonable. As a result, he grabs her shoulder. And then he goes on by saying if that happens to her, she can take his last name as her new last name. Also, he will make sure she is really happy. In the end, she started to blush, and she asks to him that this words can be taken as a marriage proposal too. To which he straight up says that was a marriage proposal. After seeing his face, she started to have her heart beat faster and faster, while getting flustered because he is being serious. And then she quickly shakes her head, and she tells to him that she appreciates the sentiment, but she is not that easy to attend. To which he thoughts to himself that her face was really red moments ago. She then says she have to fulfill the promise, but this confused him, so he asked her on what promise, to which she says she is going to revive him. She then suddenly apologizes to him because even though he won his life back, it won't be like before. Afterwards, they appeared on the hospital as a ghost, so they can't be seen by anyone. Afterwards, she realizes he is not here, and to her surprise, he is looking at the girl's panties, which made her to get angry, and she hits him with her leg. As a result, he got sent flying. In the end, she asks him to not mess around. If he doesn't, she will rip his soul right here. All of the sudden, he notices his friends being there. After seeing them crying, he gets little emotional. Reaper girl then asks him to move because they can't do anything by standing in here. After realizing they are glaring at the door, he decides to go in. Inside there, the doctors are panicking because his heart just stopped beating. He then says he looks really beautiful in his sleep. And he goes on by asking her to watch him sleep as much she wants, and he will give permission to it. To which she replies she is tempted to punch it rather than watching. Afterwards, she started to say, let's get real. and as a result she casts a huge magic circle, to which he asks to her if she just casted a time-stop magic. To which she says the time is normally flowing except for the people that's inside the barrier.